Hi, I'm Joe Wachowski. In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix your couch. We sat on this couch earlier and something broke inside, and now the cushion has no support anymore. So we're going to try and fix this. First thing we have to do is go underneath the couch to see what we can find and take apart the bottom of the couch. All right, what I have to do first is remove these staples. When we come back, we'll be able to see the inside. Okay, what I've done is flip the couch up in a way that I can work on it. It's just about upside down and leaning against the wall. And I've removed 3 sides of the bottom covering and exposed what has broken. One of the support beams or braces has broken and come apart at the end here. Okay, so I can work with this a little better. I'm going to unhook these springs from these hooks here. What I'm going to do is push down and unclip them. See it? And then I'll be able to work on that board a little easier. You can see they're all coming out. Okay, now I can pull this out and kind of take apart this broken board here. And I'll measure this and cut a new piece. And then we're going to have to reattach somehow this fabric here, because that is what's holding the front piece on. You can see the cushion is coming apart and pulling out. Now I'm going to have to reattach somehow without taking this top part off. So we'll retuck this. And what I'm going to do is either attach it to the top of this new board, or we can attach it here to hold everything in. So what I'm going to do first is replace this board. I'm going to cut it out of something, a piece of oak or pine. So I'm going to get a new piece of board and we'll replace that. Alright, I've gotten the old boards out. And I'm going to take these blocks off. I don't know what purpose they serve, but once I put my springboard back together, I need to slide it in place. So I'm going to take these off. I've actually made some new blocks here to hold for extra support my brace board. I'll show you that when I get to that. So first thing I got to do is I'm going to put this back together. I have to nail this piece, the spring guard, back onto this piece of board here. Attach this to my springboard and slide it back underneath. So what I've got to do is attach this board to here, where the other one was. It was stapled. I'm going to screw it on. I'm going to have to screw it together before I put it back in, because once it's upside down, you won't be able to tack it back in. So first thing I'm going to do is attach this to this board. Alright, I've got a piece of oak I made a new piece out of, and I've copied it as close as I can to the broken piece. Okay, same width, same length, and you want to keep the same thickness or close to it. If you go too much wider than what they have here, your cushion on the other side is going to appear thicker than the cushions next to this piece. So you want to try and keep everything as close to the original as possible. So I'm going to pre-drill my holes. Clamps to hold it in place. And you want to make sure it's centered on the board so the overhang is even. Okay. Okay, now these are the extra pieces I made to act as support. Once we slide this through, actually, this will go on this side here. We'll screw this in from the other side. This is going to become my new extra brace support, so this won't pop out again. And we'll put one on each side. Pre-drill those holes as well. When I put that in, that's our new piece. But I also have to staple this guard on. That protects the coils or the springs from coming through your chair or through your cushion. So I'm going to flip this over, and this is going to go on like this. Okay. We're going to pull it back farther, just up to around this where the screws are. Is where the other one was. So that's what we're going to have. So when we flip it over, that's what we have there. Now I'm going to take a staple gun using 5/16 staples and staple the spring guard to the back of the board. Now we're ready to slide the piece back into place. We'll want to keep this piece of fabric out of the way and slide our new board assembly under this piece of fabric. This is what keeps the front cushion in place. We'll staple this on top of our new board assembly. Now I'm going to slide my new board assembly into place, lifting this piece of fabric to slide underneath, putting it back in its original position. Before I screw it into place, I will make sure it's back in its original position. I have the old marks from the old board to line it back up where it goes. Now I will pre-drill the holes into the side blocks before installing screws. My block is 3/4 thick and my sidewall is 3/4 thick, so I'm going to use 1 1/4" screws to screw my blocks to the sidewall. Because I have recliners on each side of my couch, I'm going to use the proper length screws. I don't want the screws protruding the board because the recliners would catch and tear if the screws were sticking out past. Now that I'm finished installing the board assembly, I'm ready to reinstall the springs. The reason why I installed the board assembly before reinstalling the springs, it'd be very difficult to push the board assembly back into its original position with the springs installed because they are under tension. I have to actually pull the spring forward to rehook it to the hooks. Reinstalling the springs is probably the most difficult part of the repair. Now that I'm finished with the springs, I'll reattach the front upholstery to our board assembly. When reattaching this upholstery, you want to be careful how tight or how loose you leave the fabric. Pulling on it tighter will pull the cushion in farther, or leaving it loose will also leave the cushion loose. So you want to try and pull on it and check to make sure you're giving it the right tension. Here I'm checking on the tension of the fabric to make sure I'm lining the cushion up to the cushion next to it, making sure I don't have it too tight or too loose. Once I have it where I want it, I then staple the fabric to the board assembly. Before I reattach the bottom, I installed extra screws in the block just for added support. When you're satisfied with all your repairs, the last thing to do is put the bottom piece of fabric back on using the same staples and staple gun you used earlier. Alright, it's good as new. You can sit on it again. I'm not a professional couch repairer by any means, but if there's somebody out there who has something they'd like to add, please leave it in the comment section below. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe, like me on Facebook. Until next time, thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more how-to ideas, visit my website at www.doityourselfwithjoe.com. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe button to keep up to date with future videos. Also, visit and like me on Facebook.